Welcome to First Strike, the Filipino martial arts hub for people, events, styles, and techniques. I'm your host, Ferdinand Gayoles, and with me is our co-host, Dr. Paulo Motita. Doc Pau, good morning, and good morning
Uh,
also GM Rene Tongson for another episode here on First Strike.
okay, good morning, JM Bot, and of course, our guest, JM Rene Tongson. And of course, good morning, everyone. Good morning to those who are watching us from here in the Philippines. And of course, good evening to our counterpart in the other part of the world, who are, of course, in the United States and Europe. I'm sure there's afternoon in the evening to them. But of course, good. Would like to to shout out. Of course, Sir Tony is watching live from LA. Abel Trigibe, good morning po. Pugay watching from Tayabas. Sir Haji Tihada, of course, Pugay Sir Haji, and of course, all Arnis out there, and of course, good morning, Jem Rene. Good morning.
Good morning, GM Rene, and welcome back to the show.
Yeah.
And we also would like to, again, we would like first to start to thank our sponsors, Ella, Tumandok, Sea Oil, GCAS, and what else? RS Productions for our
Moss,
making our show
RSG,
possible.
yeah,
Yeah,
production.
RSG and Moss for making our first strike shows possible. So again, we
Okay.
have Doc, G, and Rene Thompson. Last week, he went a little bit deeper regarding Abaniko Tres Puntas, and now the most awaited episode will now go into the heart and soul of the art of Abanico Tres Puntas. And with us, of course, is no other than the prolific, the wise man of Arnis in the Philippines, one of our elders in Filipino martial arts, GM Rene Tongson. GM, welcome back again to First Strike.
Yes, GM.
I think
Okay.
we are having
Yeah.
some problems with the speaker of GM Rene.
I'm
Uh,
sure. Okay. So I think let again let's discuss. Abanico Tris Puntas. Yesterday I mean last episode we discussed about the origin at the same time the history of the art itself, where the art
mhm.
came from, and the philosophy of the art, and of course the how this art will go farther. And of course, as far as I know, the art are actually in different parts of the world, in Europe,
Mhm.
Latin America, and Asia, and of course in the United States. So I know that this time it will be a great opportunity for our viewers, because we are supposed to discuss the basic of Abaniko Tris Puntas. But I think the connection. Jem Rene, are you okay now? Can we
Can you
start?
hear me? One, two, three. Do you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
you're
good,
back,
very good.
GM.
Very good. Jem Rene, it's your time now.
Good morning again. Thank you very much again for bringing me back. This is the third Saturday, and foremost, I would like to greet all our fellow FMAers all over the world, the members of the Abanico Tres Puntas family, and of course, our modern Anis friends also all over the world, which I happen also to be the chair of modern Anis in the Philippines. So thank you very much. Today, this morning, I will be very honored to again discuss the Abaniko Tres Puntas as a system and the techniques inside Abaniko Tres Puntas, and of course some short presentation, instructional presentation, which we will show here. So I hope everyone will enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you.
So, GM Rene, I think this time you will be the one in charge. You're the one who's going to take us on a tour of Abanico Tres Puntas. So I think we'll give you the floor and we'll just let you proceed. And maybe along the way we will ask questions about your system. Okay? Okay, so Gemini, where do we start as far as Abanico test puntas is concerned? Where do we start with the basics?
Yes, number one, let's go back to the short background.
Mhm.
Abanico Tres Puntas is a classical system, a traditional, and it started from my teacher, who is from Kulasi, Antique, in Panay Island in the Philippines, Grandmaster Mateo Dalisa Estelioso. Um, as a classical system, this is an Abanico family. Yes, and Tres Puntas is only one of the abanicos. There are so many types of abanicos, and Tres Puntas is only one of them. And Abanico Tres Puntas, as a system, is an espada y daga weapon based. So it's a long blade and a short blade system, which can be transformed into four subsystem. The sticks combat, like we discussed before, and then the blade subsystem, the mano-mano or the empty hand system, and the dumog ipit or the native dumog, as they have it in Antique.
Sling.
So these are the subsystem. Now, under the Abanico Tres Puntas as a system, we have developed, as authorized by Grandmaster Estelioso, we developed this into a curriculum. Yes, and the curriculum, of course, starts with the Antas Isa or the level one, which is equivalent to the beginners, the basic, the white belt equivalent. And it goes to the second level or Antas Dalawa, Antas Tatlo or third level, and Antas Apat, or the trainer or the level four. And before you go to the advanced rank, the Lakan or the black belts equivalent. So originally we do not have a ranking system. There is none. In Abanico Tres Puntas is a traditional system or classical. But because of you have to teach this to a curriculum and standardize this worldwide, because of the vast network of the organization, um, there is no way for you to impart this or share this without standardization. And through the standardization, we need to determine the extent of the level of learning of the student. That's why we have to establish the ANTAS of the level system. So that's just a brief backgrounder. And of course, when we say the basic or the level one, of course we start with the footwork, the basic strikes. As like we said, the basic strike includes the basic universal strikes like the Ekes, the X strike, or the Ocho Ocho, as we call them, the Banday Banda, and then we have the Sungkiti or the Trusting, and then we have the Abaniko as the base, as the base. Now, if you put them together in various combinations, it creates a lot of creates a lot of combinations. Yes, the interconnection is basically unlimited if you look at it. Yes, and the intricacy would only come in when you have already undergone the required basics. Yes, the required basics, the universal strikes. When you combine this from one connection to the other, including the footwork and the body mechanics, it now express the art itself, the combat system. Yes, it express the advanced form such that it can already be applied into a combat system. Yes. So in short, you will see now in the screen, yeah, the basics of how do you call this? You will note again that in the Abanico Tres Puntas system, we stay away with impacting or a weapon to weapon contact. Yes, you will note that we always hit directly the arms or the body. You will see that in the screen. Yes. Um, Such that we call it the weapon to the flesh, or weapon to the arms directly. That's it. See, we do not encourage, or we stay away with contacting from weapon to weapon. Yes. So we call it the Sangha Patama. Yes.
Sangha
Sangha
Patama.
means, yes. Sangha means to block, and Patama
Block.
means to hit. Yes. So
Mhm.
it becomes a Sangha Patama, or a block, and at the same time a hit. Yes.
Yeah.
A hit. Yes.
Mhm.
Because in principle, when we block the weapon by using also our weapon, that is count
Mhm.
one. Okay? That's a count
Mhm.
one. And then after hitting the weapon, we
Mhm.
count number two to counter, or hit the flesh, or the arm, or
Mhm.
the body. So
Mhm.
it entails two counts.
Mhm.
Wherein when we use the Sangapatama system, Sangapatama movement, we immediately contact the weapon to the flesh.
The
So
flesh.
in short, it's one count, and
Mhm.
you get hit back
Mhm.
directly. So it's direct hit always. Yes.
Mhm. So,
So what you see,
do you before you proceed, GM Rene, do you also follow the 12 basic strikes, which is common to other styles in Arnis, or Abaniko Puntas has another set of strikes also, numbered strikes?
yes, like I said, we have four basic strikes in Abanico Tres Puntas. We only have
Four.
four, and the four basic strikes is the ekes, and
Ekes.
the reverse ekes. Yes, so that's
Okay.
one. Number two
That's
is
one.
the banda. Yes, or the
Banda.
lateral strikes. And
Horizontal. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes, here, and in the middle and the lower part. Yes. And then
Mm-hmm.
the third one is the sumkiti, or the thrusting. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the thrusting has five points. The the thrusting here, and the other side, number
Mm-hmm.
two,
Right.
number three, when we're diagonal going up, number four, diagonal going up, and number five
Mm-hmm.
is a sliding straight going down here. So we have five strike, or we have five basic strikes in Sumkiti. And
Mm-hmm.
the number four strike is Abaniko. Yes, which we have the
Abaniko.
corto. Yes, we have the corto, the medio, and the largo abanico. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So all of these are patterned into four basic strikes. Yes, basic strikes. But you will note again that these four basic strikes can also be found in other system. Yes, just like you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned. Do we do the 12 basic strikes that modern
Mm-hmm.
analyst does, or the other system does? Of
Mm-hmm.
course, if you look at it, as a universal strike, you will see it there. Yes. You will see it there. So, and vice versa. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see the system. You will see now on the screen what I am doing now is actually yeah, the abanico and the banda, the application of the abanico and the banda. See, the you see now it's a combination of the ekes, the banda, the sumkiti, and the abanico. Pak, you see that?
Abaniko.
So that's the
Yeah,
corto
the rest one
abanico.
is Abaniko.
Yes, that's the corto abanico. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so
So if it's up down, that is banda.
yes, the lateral strike is a banda, and
Banda.
yes, when you do the fan strike, that's the abanico. Yes,
Abaniko.
yes, yeah, yeah. And so you will note
Oh,
now these are the
these are very powerful strikes.
well, basically,
Yeah.
if you train well, you can get
Mm-hmm.
the you can utilize and deliver the right power. Yes, the right power and the
Mm-hmm.
speed. So what you see now is the Sangha Patama. See, directly is
Sangha Patama.
striking. Yes, it's striking. It's a block already. It's a block already, and at the same time a hit. Yes, it's a block
Yeah.
and hit, pack, and then control, and then you can use the ponyo. Yes, by trapping,
Mm-hmm.
you can use the elbow. Yes, and then you continue with the drill. Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
what you see is there it is, pack there. Mm. Yes, you see now. You see that she's striking in the bottom there. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You, I would just like to ask GM, like from the basics, right? Okay, you start with the strikes, okay? And from the strikes, How long does it take for a student to go into the Sangha Patama and the trapping of the hands? Does it take a long time?
Well, actually, when you start the basics, of course,
Mm-hmm.
we start the student in the basic strike,
Mm-hmm.
the four basic strikes, and then slowly the combinations that they should learn,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Yes.
from there, they will start to learn the we call it the Howie and the Tapi. Yes.
The
Howie
tapi.
means Howie means to parry, and Tapi is
Okay.
to parry out or to block it in impact or force to force Tapi. Yes, it's Tapi.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing so, you combine both the strikes and the Howie or the Tapi. Yes, when yeah. So when we say Howie, that means you parry. You know? So you
You
counter,
parry.
yes, you parry or you tapi. Yes, you push it
Mm-hmm.
back. Yes, such that you develop the so-called control. Control.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. Because by the time you block it with the Sangha Patama, here comes your assisting hand. Yes. You look at it. See?
You
This is how
transition.
the
Yes.
yeah, that's the mano that you see.
Yeah.
The mano that you see. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
we always start with the toppings. Yes, tap it out, the tapi.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we do hawi, and at the same time, we do the strike. So you strike, you block, or you parry. Yes, that is very
Mm-hmm.
important when you develop the student to gain control of the attacker. Yes. So all of
Mm-hmm.
this comes in the basics. Yes, we have this all
Basics.
this in the level one. Yes, they're in level one.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, level one in a regular class, like a 2 hour class or 3 hour class, once or twice
Mm-hmm.
a week, would bring you somewhere like for the level would bring you more or less about 3 months. Yes,
3 months.
3 months. Yes,
Of,
for
of
listen,
regular and continuous practice.
3 months. Yes, 3 months.
3 months.
And that
And
would
after
also
that, you will have to take an exam,
yes, that will depend on the instructor.
promotion.
Yes, that will depend on the instructor. Yes, the local or the supervising instructor will determine the absorption capacity of the student. Yes,
The student.
because it does not follow when you say 3 months. He has already absorbed it. So there are some students that
Mhm,
can absorb it very fast. Yes, and there are
mhm,
some students that they absorb it slow. That will depend on the absorption. Yes, so that
mhm,
again will depend on the instructor. Yes, the supervising instructor. By the way, we have the branch or the network instructors. We call them
mhm,
supervising instructors. Yes,
mhm,
they handle the classes in the localities.
mhm,
At the same
mhm,
time, they determine the absorption capacity of the student if they are ready for a promotion or elevation and
mhm.
whatsoever upgrading. So every level would require at least a minimum of 3 months. Yes, and
three
then you can
months.
yes you can jump to another level. And some instructors they would upgrade the students to the next level. Some they conduct
Next.
they conduct examination. Yes, that will depend on the
Okay.
style of the instructor. Yeah. And
The examination, GM, if I may, if I may butt in, the examination is of course centralized. The instructors, the respective instructors, will recommend to the central office that a certain student is now qualified to go to the next level. Is that it?
there is autonomy. There is autonomy.
Okay.
Yes. And but the examination to determine the absorption of the student
Mhm.
is done locally, and
Done
with
locally.
with that autonomy, they can promote the student. Yes, without
Mhm.
the so-called authority from directly from me or from the central training center. It's not necessary
Okay.
uh, because what we bank on is you follow the curriculum. Yes,
Okay. Yes.
and
And the standards, of course.
the standard includes the curriculum. Yes. So
Yes.
from there on, as they go along and climb, um, when they reach the level of the trainer or the so-called level 4, that equivalent is already to some other arts, something like a
Mm-hmm.
brown belt. It's a brown belt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's a brown belt.
Yes. We call it tagasanay, or you already start to train. You're already
Okay.
given the task or the chance to teach. Yes, because this is
Oh,
now the level that you will now start to become an assistant instructor to teach you how to teach. Yes. Because
you've already reached a certain level of competency as far as Abaniko Test Puntas is concerned.
basically, yes,
Yeah.
basically that you can teach already the level that you have already undergone. Yes. So
Undergone.
that means you
The
can teach
levels below your rank.
three. Yes. Yes, down you.
Oh,
Yeah, under you. Under you.
I
Yes.
mean,
So
GM, I'm
it,
just curious. Okay.
yeah,
I'm just curious, GM. Like,
it
for example, if level one is the basic strikes, perhaps can you give us some thoughts of what are techniques now on level two, on level three, and maybe level four? Perhaps we can discuss it a bit.
yeah, the level one, like I said, is your gateway. That's the first door.
Okay.
Introduction to Abanico Tres Puntas.
Mhm,
It does not only give you the physical exercises and the physical training. Number
mhm,
one is
mhm,
you start with the basic background of Abanico Tres Puntas. Yes.
mhm,
Who is the founder? The history
mhm,
behind it. What does the logo means? The interpretation
mhm,
of the logo, and of course, know the know the person, like who is Rene Tongson. Uh, uh,
mhm,
yes, and so on. So and
mhm,
then history and that's now you start the lesson on the
mhm,
footwork, the four basic strikes of Abanico Tres Puntas, and then the combinations of Abanico Tres Puntas, and then the Hawi Tapi of Abanico Tres Puntas, the
mhm,
combination of footwork and the strikes,
mhm,
and then the application of Sangha Patama, and then
mhm,
the basic control, the catching exercises, and so on,
mhm,
and so on. And then as you go after that, you go to the level 2. That is now
mhm,
where you find now the more intricate strikes, like again the basic strikes, but you find them already the combinations. Yes, and then trappings, and then the dobletes, using also the basic strikes. Yes, the dobletes.
mhm.
Yes. And then
Dobletes.
yes, and then the more intricate footwork, the combination of footwork, uh, how do you call this? The dobletes, combination of the minor drills. Yes, there are minor drills.
Mhm,
Minor drills means it's an exercise of these two students, the give and take. Yes, palitan,
mm.
palitan. Yes, I do this. You attack me. I'll do the
Give
defense.
and take.
Yes, pack, and then counter you. And then I will attack you. You do the same to me. Yes, and so on. So these are exercises. So it will start the student. You introduce now the students into mm, a counter. How
Mhm,
do you call this? Attacking it. Yes, just using the
mhm.
Sangkapatama, and then doing the counter, and then
Counter.
and
Okay.
yes,
Sorry, I'm just
That's not.
having difficulty with my connection. But anyway, in addition, to what Gemini is discussing is about, the drills are more, more important because in the drills you are not just actually learning by yourself, and you're also training
Mhm.
your partner, and the
Your part.
fluidity of the movements comes in. So that
Mhm,
is why, if you notice, they are just giving you the first three basic strikes. Then after that,
mhm,
you are now going to continuously uh, do the drills, and I think that's the beauty of this art, and of course, how you will get into training yourself. It's actually a fun, but you will notice that the techniques are just coming in.
Mhm.
It's like if you have doing those drills, okay,
Mhm.
uh, the trapping system is actually coming in. Then
Mhm.
along the way, as we observe, along the way, that's the time now that the techniques are being giving, or shall we say, ticking into,
Mhm.
because the drills will lead you to the most possible way wherein you can do your own movements. You can develop your
Mhm.
own movements that fit to your physical body, or your the most
Mhm.
or your way of how you will deliver the techniques. Okay, I think that's the things that we should also understand, especially for our viewers, that uh, this technique is, as you see, is like
Mhm.
easy to learn, but of course
Easy to
the
learn.
mechanics, sometimes the mechanics, yeah, it's easy, but of course
Mhm.
need, of course, with the guidance of of those seniors that will lead you to more comfortable delivery of your strikes.
Yeah.
I'm right, Jim Rene. I'm sure that's the how
Uh,
we do
well,
the
yeah,
drills
yes,
of Abaniko Pontas.
yes. In doing the drill, in doing the drill basically is your something like your memory card. Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So in doing the drill, you develop your posture, you develop your footwork, you develop your timing, you develop your agility, your anticipation, your balance, your the proper way of delivery, and then at the same time, of course, anticipation. And at the same time, this is where you randomly apply your techniques. Yes. And
Mhm.
these techniques that you see in the drills are products deriving or coming from your basics. Yes. And so
Mhm.
when you put them in the drill, you start of course with the drill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the instructor will give you 6, 7, 8, and the instructor will give you 9, 10, 11, and so on. And then on the later part, the instructor will tell you do it randomly. So you do it with 3, 6, 7, 9, and so on randomly. So you start it and you
Mhm.
end at the bottom, and you start in the middle, you end at the top. Yes, and this is where you
Mhm.
already see the movements of the footwork and yeah, that you see now in the screen. See, this is a typical drill. The basics are being applied there. See, you have a feeder. At the same time, the feeder can also anticipate, and you train your feeder. You are being trained by your feeder. See, so this is the benefit of doing drills. See, some
Mhm.
people misunderstood that the people doing the drills, can you apply this in
Mm.
real combat? You see, these are questions wherein that would depend on how you apply the drill. Yes, see, because let's not go further. The best boxers in the world, they do drills. Yes, do
Drills,
drills.
yes.
Best boxers in the world, and you will see,
Yes.
like they said, when division world champion Manny Pacquiao
Mhm.
was, they said, oh, he just feint, traps, and that's the same. They said that's the same because that's the drill. That's the drill. And and by the time he applies his drills, his techniques, you will see the opponent is on the floor. Yes, because he has
Mhm.
perfected it.
Yes,
Yes,
Yeah.
he has
yeah,
perfected
because
it.
yes,
He got the
must
timing, he got he was able to control the distance, and the anticipation was there, and at
Yes.
the same time, um, how do you call this? Uh, he delivered it. the way he should. Yes. So he knocks them out. Yes, he knocks them out. And this is the same with Abaniko Tres Puntas or in the other system. Yes, not only in Abaniko Tres Puntas. You will see this in other styles. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of drills also done by Pikititirsya. Yes, I see a lot of them with because I always I'm associated closely with Tuhon Mertoltal and some other Pikititirsya friends. They do a lot of drills and I love what they're doing. Yes, you see this in Balintawa. Manong Babi Tabuada's
Yes.
birthday today anyway. Yes, happy birthday Manong Babi Tabuada. Yes, they do a lot of drills.
Yeah,
Yes,
happy birthday, Jem Bobby.
yeah,
Yeah, concerning
cutting our
happy
yeah.
birthday.
It's today is
Yeah,
FMA special holiday because it's
Oh,
Manong Babi Taboada's birthday. Never mind about
happy
yeah.
birthday.
his age. Yes, but definitely he's ripe. Oh, he's
Discussion.
ripe. Yes. So
Yeah.
uh, going back, I see a lot of drills with Ilustrisimo. Lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to see it. Why? Because when they deliver it, you really see on the beauty, the grace of how they deliver it and tempo. I see, wow, nice. Yes. And I see a lot of drills also, of course, with modern Arnis. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this drill also, there is now the so-called interconnection of your students. Yes, regardless of their locality. Yes. So, like in Abaniko Tres Puntas, we have the so-called drill patterns, basic
Mm-hmm.
drills, and then we go to the random drills that you do your own timing, you do your own techniques in the delivery of your drills. The Romanian can do this with the Russian. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They don't need to stop and say, let's train first. No, they can do it instant, at random. Yes, and they can do it with the Filipinos. And the same with the UK people. The same with the Brazilian. Yes, the same with the Guatemalans. All of this, the Japanese can do the deal with the Filipino instant. Yes, impronto. Yes.
So
So
essentially, what's nice in ATP is that the drills and the movements themselves become the language of ATP wherever you are.
yes, this is where we connect with each other and enjoy the
Yes. Company.
yes. Because you see,
Yeah.
when they do the drill, you don't want to stop. You don't want to stop. Yes. And then by doing the drill, pack, 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 1, 2, 3, and then suddenly you apply your technique. Yes. Yes. When you apply the techniques and then you get the connection, then you say, oh, I hit you. Yes, I got you. And then he will do the same to
Mm.
you. He will find a way to get inside because every time he has a counter. Yes. He can counter it and you cannot get inside. So once you are able to get inside using your timing, your technique coming from the basics, and then you feel you feel how do you call this? You're happy. You're happy because
Yeah.
I was able to connect.
I think,
Yes.
yeah. And I think,
Yeah.
GM, like
What
some,
you see now?
yeah.
Yeah. What you see now in the screen was also a typical way of doing a drill. Yes. A Sangha Patama.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And using
Sangha
the
Patama.
footwork. Yes, Sangha Patama. So he's telling, I am telling them now on how to deliver pack. There you are, and then there you are.
Mm-hmm.
See, that is now an exercise that will be transformed into a drill later on. Pack. See, that's an
Mm-hmm.
exercise. See, and then when you connect them, all of these exercises, it becomes a drill. Yes, and yeah, you see now, Pac there, it's now a drill. See, he feeds
Yeah.
you, and then you counter him, and he counters you. Yes, you feed him
Yeah.
also, then he feeds you. You see, that is a
Yeah.
drill, and you will notice the movement of the feet. See, the movement of the feet.
Yeah.
So they are trying to evade the attack, and at the same time
Mm-hmm.
giving the counter, and at the same time the
Mm-hmm.
delivery of timing, putting the distance and the speed of how it is being delivered. See? So
Mm-hmm.
it's an exercise. At the same time, if you put them together, it becomes a drill. Because
Yeah.
when he feeds you, you counter. and then you feed him
Mm.
counters, so it becomes a drill.
It-
Okay? So it becomes
Yes.
a delivery of your techniques. Yes.
Mm,
So you should know that's a drill. Okay, that's a
mm,
drill. Hmm.
mm.
He attacks you.
Actually,
He
GM,
you defend. Hmm.
yeah. Actually, GM, while watching the screen right now, notice it's, of course, it's a drill, but it is almost like they are already engaging in a semi-sparring kind of drills.
Well, basically,
No?
yes, correct. Because we
Essentially.
have the we have the stage wherein this exercise
Mm,
is that's controlled. That's controlled
controlled,
exercise.
yes.
Yes. Now, at another stage, you put on your armor. Yes.
Put on your.
You put on your armor, your protective gears, and the same
Mm,
exercise, I will hit you hard. I will hit you hard. See?
mm,
So you attack me, you feed, and then I will counter and see, I will hit you in the head or in the shoulder or in the collar with full force. Full force.
full
So
force.
such that I will really feel with the contact. I will feel the contact. And you inside your protective gear feel the vibration. You will feel the
Yeah, and
vibration going inside.
this
Oh,
will
yes.
really, yeah, and this drill actually, when you say it's full contact already, this will make the defender endeavor not to get hit because
Exactly.
it will sting you. And I think these drills will make you think fast, move fast, and it has a certain degree already of realism, which is
Yes.
nice actually.
Yes. So
Yeah.
when you interpret this into how do you call this in full contact strike, with
Full contact.
without protective gears, just
Mhm.
imagine if you get hit in the collarbone or in the forehead with that delivery. Look at that. Mm. Bang. See?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
There in the hands, and then he will strike you with the doublete. See? You will note how they move. They evade the center by using the footwork. So it's developing you on how to control the distance, at the same time how to evade the strike. Okay? But that is a drill.
Yeah.
This is a drill coming from
Yeah.
an
Actually,
exercise.
yeah. Actually, GM, I noticed your your sangha, no, your what do you call it? Your sangha,
Tama.
uh
Sangha Patama.
your tama sangha. Actually, I was looking at here at the screen, and just imagine it was full contact. It will even cause the attacker to drop his weapon if he gets hit, especially in the wrist. Because I notice most of the sangha there are the forearm, the wrist, no, and sometimes you can as easily go to the head if you want to. So I think that your tama sangha is a very effective fight ender, if I may call it that. No, it's a very effective fight ender.
Yes. Also, that is not a monopoly of Abaniko Tres Puntas. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
will also see this. You will see this techniques or this
Styles.
way of delivery from other styles, but
Mhm.
the so-called how to deliver it, uh, it would vary. So every style has its own distinct way of doing it. Yes,
Yeah.
the Sangha Tama this exercise is also common in some other styles. Yes, it's not a monopoly of Abanico Tres Puntas, but in Abanico Tres
Mhm.
Puntas we have our way of distinct way of doing it, and you will see it there. Okay, on
Yes.
how we pull the sticks to increase power and speed. Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
how we compensate the power of the speed of the sticks by compensating it with our footwork. Okay, on how we use the proper way of doing our balance. Yes, so it increase the power, the speed, and at the same time creating the required distance. The required distance.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. So that's
Okay.
these are mm, yes.
Before we proceed, GM, we would just like to thank again our sponsors, Chicas, Ella, Moss, RNS, Videos, Sea Oil, Mandok. and of course Moss, no, our sponsors for making this show possible. Anyway, GM, in order just to proceed, because I was really very impressed with your Espada Idaga Anyo last week, no? I really liked it. As a matter of fact, I kept playing it and playing it. And this Anyo, is this a required form? Abaniko Tres Puntas. It's very beautiful, actually.
Tres puntas, we call this the mustra. Yes, mustración.
Most
Yes,
almost
it's it's the expression of your uh of the art itself. Yes, on how you have to deliver it properly. Some sort of part of simulating. Yes,
Mhm,
simulating an attacker. You're creating a distance, simulating a counter, simulating a block and a counter, and at the same time simulating a footwork that gives you combination and balance. You see, so we call it the mustra. Yes, to demonstrate mustración.
oh,
Yes, and
this
by doing so, you develop your form, you develop your grace, and you of course develop some so-called how to anticipate by simulation. So
mhm,
it's like a shadow boxing. Yes,
mhm.
yes, it's shadow boxing. Mm.
Is
Yeah,
this a
you will
required
see.
form?
Yes, yes, yes. We
So
do that.
all advanced students of ATP know how to do this.
Yes, yes. And this movement are universal to us inside the Banico Tres Puntas. Yes, because like I
Very beautiful, Anil.
yes, so you will see the delivery, the counter. Yes, yes, the footwork, the distance creating. Yes, that's it. See, then see, see
Yeah,
we
stabbing.
call it yes, we call it the bicicleta or the bicycle.
Bis-
Yes,
oh,
yes.
bicicleta
Then
are rapid stabs.
yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes, it's
they're
a
very
bicycle.
fast.
Yes.
And
Mm.
it's multi-directional. Very beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, because from if you see this, they are all from our basics. Yes. You
Mm.
find them in level 1 or antas isa. You find them in level 2, you find them in level 3. Yes. So when you do
So,
this, it's it's now a simulation of something like you imagine that you have an attacker. So you do
mhm,
the counter, you do the block, you counter, you push the knife, and then you counter, you push the knife, you evade using your footwork, you evade by using your distance, and then you will see that.
mhm,
See? So this is one way to develop also your form, your agility, and at the same
mhm.
time, we always say in Abanico Tres Puntas, you look good, you must be good.
Well, there's no other way. If people look at you performing, I mean, they will definitely be impressed because I like the grace, I like the flow, the speed is there, the power is there, and of course, the lethality of each move can be clearly seen in this anyo. Now, Jim, I would just like to ask because I'm really very curious because as an observer, I noticed that what makes ATP, correct me if I'm wrong, what makes ATP distinct is its specialization in the dagger. Perhaps you'd like to tell me something about uh, the dagger part of ATP because it seems that you have a lot of dagger techniques, and in many of your seminars, it seems to be the attention getter among the attendees of your seminars.
Yeah, like I said, the Abanico Tres Puntas system is a weapon-based art, a
Mhm,
weapon-based system, and
mhm,
it is a espada y daga based. Yes.
mhm,
So the long blade,
mhm.
talibong, typical
Kalibong.
talibong. Yes,
Yes.
and the dagaso. We call it dagaso. So
Dagaso.
you will note that the movement is always the the assisting hand is always busy always busy.
Mhm.
I am not holding the knife, I'm keep pushing, grabbing, pushing, grabbing, parrying, parrying, parrying. It's actually the knife. Yes, it's
Mhm.
from the knife. Because when I parry, you get cut. I parry, you get cut.
Mhm.
When I push you, it's actually a push of the blade. A push of the blade. See?
Okay.
So yeah, so you will note that the movement always is coming from going inside as a tip.
Yeah,
Yes,
just it.
yes. Because the Abanico Tres Puntas is fond of we are always into the Sungkiti. Yes. If we block
Sukiti.
you, if we
Yeah.
block you with the Sangha Patama, the following strike you anticipate the Sungkiti
Yeah.
always. And 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 the Sungkiti is actually interpreted as a thrust of the blade. Yes, a thrust of the
Trust, yeah.
blade. Yes, it's always a
Yeah,
thrust.
I notice you have a penchant for this kind of thrust to the
Yeah,
chest,
just
no?
like we said, just like we said, do it as fast as you can. Yes, as fast as you can means cut the time. Yes,
Yeah.
one, two, three, it's done, finish, done, finish. Look at that. Look at the screen. He will do a counter. There you are. See, yeah, he's hitting him with the end. The tip. Yes, just imagine that you get there. You are. See? So
Yeah, yeah,
it's a Sangha Patama, and then he do a reverse Sungkiti. Yes,
yeah.
Sungkiti number two. There you are. Look at that. Ah, see? So where did he hit? Hit his eyes, his nose, or his throat. Yes, you remove his
Mm.
throat. You see,
That's
and
it.
then
That's it.
yes, he follows you with strike number five in Sungkiti. Bang,
Yeah.
and it goes directly to your collar. To your collar. So it's a finishing. See? So, like I said, do it as fast as you can. At the time.
Mm.
See? At the time. So look
Mm.
at that. In the screen, it's being demonstrated again on how to
There.
use this. There you are. See? You see that? Yeah,
Mm.
it's hitting his neck, and then he hits in the ribs. Back.
The
That's the rib.
ribs.
Yes. So in short, back there. One
Yeah.
two. See?
Wow.
One two. It's a 1-2. It's a combination of a block Sangha Patama directly to the arm, and at the same time, when he pulls the weapon, it hits you again with the tip of the weapon. See, he hits you with the tip of the weapon. In short, if that's a blade, it removes your throat. There. He showed the how to hit in the ribs and show how to hit in the. There you are. See, there you are. Pack. There you are. See?
Yes.
It's all Sungkiti. It's all Sungkiti. And just
Well, yeah.
imagine, that's a blade. That's a blade.
Mm. Yeah.
See? That's a blade. So I counter a block, and at the same time, he parries you, and then he puts the blade inside. Yes.
Yes.
He pushed.
Actually,
Yes.
GM,
So
a friend, yes. Yeah, actually, GM, last week, a friend of mine watch you do these techniques. And I told him, when GM Rene Tongson, he does it fast and he does it rapidly. And he asked, what do you mean fast and rapidly? Because when he does a particular technique, he does it very fast. The individual execution of a technique is very fast, but he is very rapid when it comes to the multiple execution other techniques, especially if he is doing the stabs repetitively. It's very rapid. So that's why he said, "Oh, now I know what's the difference between fast and rapidly." When GM Rene Tongson does it, he does it fast and he does it rapidly. I don't know. Maybe you can correct me, GM, on that.
well, like I said, the speed and the power is compensated because of you have good footwork. Yes. You must have a good balance. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have good balance, you can deliver the power correctly. And then when you use your footwork, and by the time you hit, you also use a footwork to slide or to step slide back, and it will also increase again the speed and the power. So in short, the body mechanic, the correct way or the proper utilization of your body mechanics will create power, will create
Mhm.
speed, and at the same time, you will see how graceful it is. Yes, how
Yes.
graceful it is. So this is the product again. This is the product again of training. Yes, training from your basics. Yes, from the basic. Because in the basic, like again, like I said, we are very particular. We spend a lot of time going around again and again and again with footwork. Yes, a lot
GM,
of time in
before we
footwork.
wrap up, because we're already running out of time, talking to you, I seem to forget about time. It's very exciting,
Oh,
actually.
yes,
Anyway,
yes,
GM,
yes.
before we wrap up, I would just like to ask a question because in some of your techniques, I noticed that you have some strangulation techniques. Are these still part of the basic or these are already advanced techniques?
Advanced movement that you get when you get to the higher level. This is the fourth subsystem of Abanico Tres Puntas. Yes, the dumog.
The portable. So this is the brown
So
belt level.
yes, when he grabs you and continue down with this and do some how do you call it, spit al or weight over
Hmm.
pital
Pital.
yes. Um, it's already part of the dumog. Yes, and that is
Tubo.
one of the subsystem of Abanico Tres Puntas. Yes,
Yes.
being coming from Kulasi, which is a home of native dumog, traditional dumog, antique, is obviously Abanico Tres Puntas has it. Yes, and like I said again, it has four subsystem, and you will see in the drills that all subsystem are being applied. Yes, they are being applied in
Mhm.
the drills, and again, the drill is your memory card. Yes,
The
that is
drill
where you
is your
store.
memory card.
Yes, that is where you store your techniques. You store
Mhm.
your lessons. Yes, coming from the drill. Because you don't have to go back to 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Yes, you can apply it from the drill, and you will always recall it. Yes,
Oh,
by doing the drill. That is where you recall your techniques. You recall your lessons from the basic to the advanced, and so on. Yes. So that's why in Abanico Tres Puntas we are very fun, or we are particular with our exercises that turns into a drill. Yes. So you will see again now in the screen, I'm doing a lot of um, body languages. See? You see
yes,
that?
yes, yes.
There's the proper way of doing the Abanico. Corto Abanico, medium
Wow.
Abanico. You see, I do
And
not
that's
hit his
very
hand.
fast. Very fast.
His hand. There is no contact in the hands. There is no
Yeah.
contact in the hands. You see? Because of I am using the body mechanics. Yes,
Mm,
I do not abuse the wrist.
mm,
The wrist is not actually moving. It's the elbow
mm.
moving. Yes, it's the elbow.
Yes.
See? And at the same time, it's the bending of the knees that
Mm,
compensates speed and the power. Okay? So all of
yes.
this goes back to utilization of what is installed in your body. Yes.
Mm,
Utilization of the potential flexibility and the agility of your body. And that is where it compensates the speed and the power, creating the distance. And by doing a lot of training,
mhm.
it will synchronize your movement. You see, you look at
Wow.
that drill. So
You know,
the
GM, I was just looking at your basics. And I think just looking at your basics, it seems encyclopedic already. It is very holistic in the sense that it encompasses long range fighting, short range fighting, different weapon use. You have the long stick, the short stick, you have the sword, you have the dagger, you have dumog, you have grappling. No?
yes,
And of
mano
course,
mano,
I think,
mano.
yeah, mano and the mano. Now, I think all of this can only be attained by continuous practice, as you said, and continuous drill. And of course, the maintenance of the standard. By the way, lastly, GM, I would just like again to go. I'd just like to tackle the last time the I think it was the collaboration between you and Dr. Motita about that curriculum that you made. And you said last time that this curriculum are distributed to the key or the senior instructors of ATP. No? And this is the quality standard ATP. No? Would you like to comment on that, Jim?
Yes. When I was studying under Grandmaster Mateo Dalisa Estelioso, there was no curriculum. Yes, we
No
have a system.
curriculum. No
We have
system.
a system. We have a system, but
Oh,
we do not have a
okay.
curriculum. Yes, and
Okay.
by doing so, he told me you can start teaching this if you want. You can share this. How can you share?
Mm,
How can you share the art and be consistent if you do not have a pattern of teaching? Yes.
mm,
And as we go along, when he said, "Oh, yeah, you can teach this if you want to teach this abroad and so on." How can you again standardize this? If you teach this in the Philippines, and then I teach this in Russia, and then I teach another one again in Romania, and I teach this in UK, I teach this in Brazil, I teach this in Finland, and you are going to create chaos. Yes, teaching chaos, and
mm,
everyone will get confused. Where are we now? Okay, so what do you do? Create create a standard. Yes, a standard method of teaching, a standard method through curriculum, and
mhm,
how do you call this? A standard of determination of the extent of what the student has already undergone or studied.
mhm,
All of these
mhm,
are established, and it
mhm,
becomes a worldwide standard for the Abanico Tres Puntas system. Yes.
mhm,
So, like I said, and going back, the Russian can do it with the Filipino, instant.
mhm.
Yes, and they can communicate
Yes.
directly using the terminology, and they will understand each other. Yes. So, in short, we have our own internal language. Yes,
Mhm,
internal language, and by doing so today, we are sharing this such that uh, some sort of maybe an appreciation. No, no. What you see now is the interpretation of the sticks to the mano-mano. See,
mhm.
interpretation of the sticks to the
Yeah.
mano-mano, and you will see a lot of the blocks are also the same
Yes.
interpreted from the
An
six.
hour combat. Mhm,
Yes, yes. So this drill that they're doing is also being done by people, our students in the United Kingdom. Yes, and they are also being
okay.
done by Italians. The same. All of this. See,
Anyway,
now they are
GM,
doing the knife. They are doing the knife,
yeah.
interpretation of the knife,
Anyway,
and then
GM,
you see now the foot.
yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, GM, I'm going to put you on the spot now, and maybe you can answer this.
Mm.
Do we see a book forthcoming from GM Rene Tongson?
How come again? I lost the signal. Come again.
Do we see a book on
Ah,
ATP forthcoming from GM Tongson in the future?
well, actually that's a long shot dream that every instructor dream of. Yes. But at the moment, I am probably not ready to do it because you see, until today, while I am the head instructor, chief instructor of Abaniko Tres Puntas, I'm still studying. I'm still studying
Mhm.
because until
But we have
today,
videos, of course.
oh,
We
I
have
have seven
videos, right?
volumes. I have 7 volumes of videos.
7 volumes.
7 volumes. It was produced, I think 8 years ago, and
Mm-hmm.
stop distributing it because
Mm-hmm.
during those times I was still in the stage of developing the curriculum, and then suddenly along the pattern, here pops another one that is missing within, and I have to insert this. I have to insert this and to the detriment of those DVDs that were out.
Previous one.
Okay? Yes, so it will
But
confuse my students.
but these videos, GM, are they available in the market right now?
I recalled it. I recalled it.
How do you recall it? So
Yes, yes.
maybe we can invite our viewers right now. We've had 3 episodes, 3 very exciting and 3 highly informative episodes from GM Rene Tongson. Anyway, GM Rene Tongson, it has been very, very enjoyable talking to you these past 3 episodes. You've really done a lot. You've really shared a lot with us, and we're really very happy. I hope we can have more of you again. If you have something more to share, we're just here. So anyway, GM Rene, at this juncture, again, we'd just like to thank our sponsors, Sea Oil, Tumando, Ross, uh, Ella, and of course GCash for helping us make this first strike a reality. And of course, we are really very, very honored. We are really very, very happy to have had GM Rene Tongson with us here on First Strike. GM Rene, any last words before we say goodbye to our viewers?
Yes, thank you very much. It's not a goodbye. It's not a goodbye, but so long. And I hope to meet
Yeah.
you again here, everyone here. And I really enjoyed also talking, discussing with you here, uh, the first strike. Uh,
Mm.
Foremost, it's not the presentation for the last 3 Saturdays is not to convince people to join Abaniko Festival. It's not. It is sharing. So whatever you can see and you think will be applicable to you, pick it up. Whatever you think
Yeah.
is not applicable to you, just disregard it. Yes. In short, we do not have the monopoly of how good we are or how better we are than the rest. Yes. But we have the monopoly of sharing. Yes. We have the
Yes.
privilege of sharing. And sharing is one way of seeing our our love for Filipino martial arts, seeing the very culture of the Filipino. At the same time, bridging the gap, bridging the world through FMA, through martial arts,
Mm.
and that such that we create peace and harmony among our friends from one country to another. Okay, so bridging the world through martial arts. Okay? So finally, I would like to thank number one where Abanico Tres Puntas is now. We started with 2, 3, 4 networks worldwide, and then we went into 2026. We are in 32 countries, and we are still growing. We are growing because this goes to the credit and honor to my students. Yes,
Mm.
because they were the ones who are helping me create uh, a wider horizon for Abanico Tres
Mm.
Puntas to go further. Yes.
Mm.
And finally,
So,
and and finally, Abanico Tres Puntas is open for cooperation. Yes. Like I said, there is no monopoly on our side. We are not we
mm,
are not the best. We are not better than the other one, but we are always open to cooperation, and at the same time create a bridge of harmony and understanding. Yes.
mm,
So with today as a conclusion, I am sharing this to you uh, for you to appreciate it. Yes. But not forcing you to do it. Not forcing you to do it. Because Abanico Tres Puntas is again not mine. Yes. This is owned by Grandmaster Mateo Balisa Istelioso of Colasi Antique. I am only a caretaker. Yes, and make sure that Abanico Tres Puntas is propagated properly as what he wants me to do. Yes. And share it to the audience, share it to other people. This is not mine. And the Abanico Tres Puntas as a Filipino martial art is not owned also by Grandmaster Mateo D. Celioso. It is owned by the Filipino. Yeah.
So, so,
Thank you very
so
much.
with that, GM, with that very inspiring word indeed, I think we will have more of GM Lily Tongson in the future. And of course, in behalf of me, Ferdinand Gayoles, and Dr. Motita, this is First Strike. And until our next episode, I'll say goodbye for now. At mag-Arnis tayo, GM Lily Tongson. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. I'll see you
Mabuhay,
next time.
mabuhay, mabuhay. Oh, thank you, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Mhm. Kulang-kulang pa yung time natin, eh. Oh, pero you see